You ever have one of those days where you're just minding your own business, trying to get through a boring conference call, and suddenly, bang, 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 someone starts pounding on your front door? Like the house is on fire? Yeah, that was me last Thursday. My dog started barking like crazy in the other room. My headset nearly flew off, and all I could think was, please let this be about a lost Amazon package and not another neighbor meltdown. I muted the mic, apologized to my team, and pulled open the front door, only to come face to face with the unofficial queen of our little neighborhood kingdom. There she was, Patricia, pink visor gleaming in the sun, clipboard clutched so tight you'd swear it was a shield, eyes narrowed in that way that says she's about to drop the hammer, whether you like it or not. Mr. Lewis, she said, dragging my name out like it was something nasty she'd just scraped off her shoe. I'm Patricia from the HOA. We've had complaints about your activities during work hours. She made activities sound criminal, like I'd been running a speakeasy or something. I blinked. Activities? Yes, she replied, glancing around, practically sniffing for clues. Meetings, deliveries, visitors. You're running a business out of your home. That's a violation of HOA Policy 14B. I swear I almost laughed in her face right there. Patricia, I wanted to say, you should see the inside of my office. There's nothing more exciting than a spreadsheet and a half-eaten granola bar. But I kept it together. Patricia, I'm just on video calls. I work remotely, like half the country. That's not against any rule. She curled her lip, looking like she'd caught a whiff of something rotten. It is as if it disturbs the peace. Several neighbors have reported loud talking. I raised an eyebrow. Loud talking? My office is soundproofed. I know because I approved the designs myself, back when I was the one signing off on all the contracts for this neighborhood. But, hey, play nice, right? I'll double-check the guidelines, I said, because I wasn't about to argue with a pink visor on my porch. Patricia grinned, victorious, and scribbled something on her clipboard before handing me a notice, like a traffic ticket for talking at work. She strutted down my driveway like she'd just liberated Paris. Back at my desk, I unmuted my call and tried to focus, but all I could think about was the absurdity of it. My boss, Tom, asked if everything was okay. Just a local thing, I said, grinning. I'll handle it. What Patricia didn't know, what absolutely no one on the HOA board seemed to realize, was that I'm not just another homeowner. I'm the senior operations executive for Greenrest Developments, the company that literally built this neighborhood. Still owns a controlling stake in the HOA's management contracts, too. In other words, Patricia had just tried to flex on her boss's boss. And if she wanted to play power games, well, she'd just stepped into the wrong boardroom. But I didn't retaliate. Not yet. No, I wanted to see how far she'd take it. I figured, give her a little rope and let her build her own gallows. The next morning, I opened my door and, bam, there's a bright yellow notice taped right to the middle. Community alert. Unauthorized business. Operation under investigation. Underneath, in Patricia's neat, tight handwriting, report all suspicious deliveries or visitors to HOA compliance immediately. I actually laughed out loud. My dog just looked at me like, is it breakfast yet? Patricia wasn't just overstepping. She was staging her own personal witch hunt. When I walked down the street later, I could feel eyes on me, some neighbors nodding politely, others whispering and sneaking glances. Patricia had been busy spreading her little rumor. By noon, she'd already posted in the neighborhood Facebook group. Certain homeowners are violating our peaceful environment by turning their homes into commercial offices. We must preserve our community integrity. Her post had 50 likes in an hour and a growing thread of comments. Most people just guessing who this certain homeowner was. Everyone knew, of course. Birch Trail Drive might as well have had my name plastered on it. Still, I let her have her fun. 2 days later, she kicked it up a notch. A kid, couldn't have been older than 20, shows up in a reflective vest with a brand new clipboard, still had the price sticker on it. I need to inspect your premises, he says, sounding about as confident as a kid at his first school dance. For, zoning violations. I couldn't help it, I grinned. You know the HOA doesn't cover zoning laws. Right. He froze, clearly out of his depth. Tell Patricia she can call the city office if she's worried. Maybe they'll explain the difference. I closed the door and picked up the phone. Called Frank, our property management liaison, old friend of mine. always good for a laugh. He answered, half chuckling. Wait, he said. Patricia Hendris is hassling you? You're literally listed as executive oversight on the contract. I know, I told him. Don't spill the beans yet. Let's see how this plays out. Frank just snorted. This'll be good. Later that day, I logged into our weekly ops meeting. Ellison, the big boss, was on the call. Decent guy, old school but fair. I brought it up just to plant the seed. Quick heads up, Ellison, I said. One of your HOA presidents is getting enthusiastic. Name's Patricia Hendris. He groaned. Oh no. What now? She's trying to shut down a home office. Mine. Ellison stopped mid-sip of his coffee. Yours? Yep. Maybe time to review her leadership fitness. He didn't say much, but the look on his face said plenty. By the end of the week, my quiet little street had turned into a neighborhood soap opera. Patricia was out there, door to door, clipboard swinging, asking folks to sign a petition to preserve community order. Apparently, my home office was now the symbol of everything wrong with suburban America. I watched from my study as she cornered poor old Mr. Becker next door. Guy looked like he wanted the earth to swallow him up, while Patricia waved papers and lectured about property values. That was my cue. Time to end the show. Monday night rolls around. HOA's regular community meeting. Patricia plastered flyers everywhere. Emergency session, discussion of unauthorized home businesses. I showed up early, took a seat right in the front row. Patricia's eyes nearly popped out when she saw me, but she recovered fast. Oh, Mr. Lewis, she said with that syrupy voice. This meeting might not concern you. I'll take my chances, I replied, settling in. The room filled up quick. Everyone loves a good neighborhood showdown. Patricia strutted up to the podium, shuffled her papers for dramatic effect, and launched into a speech about one resident who thinks the rules don't apply to him. She went on for 10 solid minutes, reading off imaginary violations, deliveries, phone calls, street parking, you name it. I swear, by the end, she was making me sound like I was running the next Enron out of my den. She finished with a flourish. Therefore, I move that the HOA issue a cease and desist order for all business activity at this residence. The room went dead quiet. I stood up. Before you vote, I said, keeping my voice steady, I'd like to clarify a few things. Patricia folded her arms, ready for a fight. You've had your chance, Mr. Lewis. I smiled. Actually, as the senior operations executive for Greenrest Developments, the parent company that funds, maintains, and oversees this HOA, I think I get to speak. I swear, her face went white as a sheet. Every head in the room turned toward me. I kept going, calm and even. I've listened to your accusations, Patricia, and while I appreciate your passion, it seems you've misunderstood your authority and your employment chain. Then, from the back of the room, a familiar voice. That's correct. Mr. Ellison himself stepped forward, calm as can be. I'm here tonight to address that myself. Patricia's jaw hit the floor. She clearly hadn't known he'd be there. Let's talk, Ellison said, fixing her with a look that could freeze water. Patricia, I've received multiple complaints about your conduct, harassing residents, unauthorized inspections, public postings, and now targeting one of our executives. The room started buzzing, neighbors whispering, some people even smirking behind their hands. Patricia stammered. I was just enforcing the rules. The community depends on discipline. And this man, Ellison cut her off. This man is your superior, Patricia. You've disrespected not only a homeowner, but the company that employs you. Do you realize what that means? Patricia's face went scarlet. Sir, I didn't know. He never said. I raised my hand, trying to keep things civil. You didn't ask, I said gently. You assumed. Authority you never had. Ellison nodded. Exactly. HOA leadership is about service, not power trips. You've turned this community into a battleground over imaginary crimes. The room started clapping, soft at first, then a little bolder as folks realized the spell was broken. Patricia glanced around, looking for support, but even her closest allies wouldn't meet her eyes. Ellison sighed, tired but firm. Effective immediately, Patricia, you are relieved of your position as HOA president. We'll appoint a temporary chair until elections next quarter. You're also suspended from any Greenrest volunteer roles pending review. She sputtered. You can't. He just arched an eyebrow. I can, and I just did. She stood there frozen for a moment, then gathered her papers, chin trembling, and bolted out of the room, doors slamming so hard it rattled the windows. And just like that, the storm was over. I turned to the neighbors. Sorry for the disruption this week. Remote work is here to stay, and as long as we respect each other, there's room for quiet homes and productivity. Someone in the back shouted, honestly, we're just glad she's gone. The room broke out in laughter, real, relieved, like someone had opened a window after a long winter. Afterward, Ellison clapped me on the shoulder. Sorry you had to go? Through all that, Lewis. She's been overstepping for months. I just smiled. Sometimes the best way to teach humility is to let folks dig their own hole. The next morning, the yellow community alert was gone from my door. In its place, a simple white envelope. Inside, Patricia's handwriting. Mr. Lewis, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I tucked it away in my desk drawer. Lesson learned, anyone who bangs on your door shouting about authority probably doesn't have much to begin with. And as for me, I logged back in, unmuted my mic, and greeted my team with a smile. Good morning, everybody. Let's get back to business. So, here's my question for you. What would you have done if a Karen showed up at your door, swinging her clipboard and threatening to shut down your life over nothing? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me your wildest HOA or neighborhood drama. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button if you've ever dealt with a power-hungry neighbor. I can't wait to read what you'll have to say.